was at a basketball camp with a friend of mine, and I pulled the coach aside and I was like, hey, my knee's hurting, and we're thinking it's just a basketball injury.
It was around Christmas time, and we had just taken Jasper to go sit on Santa's lap because he was 3, and we found a lump.
I was 8 or 9. I don't really remember a lot because that's some of the side effects about taking medication. It's memory loss. Till now, I still have problems.
When a child's diagnosed with cancer, if as a mental health professional, we look at the top indicators of stress and trauma for parents, having a child with cancer, let's be very clear, is one of the most traumatic things a family can go through. It's not just a little bit of worry, it's terror.
I think the thing that most people don't know is how much the treatment will affect the child, the family, for a long time. Navigating treatment for childhood cancer is often a lifelong experience.
It's very isolating for parents and lonely for parents going through cancer treatment because most of the people in their world don't understand it. And you can have the most loving, empathetic, compassionate people in your life checking on you, but they just won't get it.
Where do we get emotional support? Where do we get social support? Therapy, family therapy. We had to rebuild our lives, and we didn't have any kind of support on that level other than Ukandu.
Ukandu works in a lot of different ways to partner with the hospitals to help take care of children and families. The reason I come there is because I actually get to see my patients smile. It's hard to get a patient to smile in the hospital, but it's really easy to get somebody to smile at camp.
The mission of Ukandu is to provide hope, joy, and connection for families impacted by childhood cancer. But Ukandu is a lot more than just that mission statement. It's more than a collection of programs. It's truly a family.
You drop your kid off, they could be in treatment, they could come through major surgery, and you just drop them off and they go and they just have the week of their life. It's amazing. It doesn't make any sense.
You meet people who you're just like, these people are gonna just walk through life with me because they get it.
It's a place for kids to just be kids, to not worry about what problems they have. It doesn't matter what race you are, you're gonna be welcomed with open arms.
Ukandu's history goes back to the mid-'80s, and for 31 years, Ukandu was known as Camp Ukandu. Over the last 7 or 8 years, Ukandu has added a number of different programs. Everything we provide for our community is free of charge.
We create space for people to come and to be free to be fully who they are.
I really truly feel that in one focused week, I was able to work through a lot of the stress that I've been piling up for years.
Maybe the best therapists for cancer families are other cancer families. And the reason we're all connected is because of Ukandu.
It was through Ukandu and the new friends and the new families that we connected with where we started filling that hole for ourselves to rebuild our life.
One of the things we know, having been in this space for nearly 4 decades, is that despite all of the attention and care, these families are still underserved.
Sometimes we have to look at what's being done and say, it's great, it's not enough. Not if my kid's going through this, not if any kid's going through this.
And what Ukandu hopes to do with this expansion is to continue the success that we've had and bring that to the entire family 52 weeks a year.
From a business model standpoint, it's obviously a brick and mortar building where these families can come to 365.
When I think of the Loft, I think of an extension of home where authentic and genuine and real connection can occur because the space has been created.
I think that Ukandu is well suited to provide this community space because they've been doing it for a long time. I think it will be a great place outside of the hospital to help heal.
And I remember walking into a support group at the hospital one time And it was so hard, and I didn't want to do that again. You know, as an organization, you'll need to be very cautious and intuitive and careful. I mean, our emotions are, like, we're so sensitive. We're hard people.
I think Ukandu has been really thoughtful about who they bring in to their board, who they bring into staff, who they bring in as consultants. I'm one of many professionals who know a lot about stress and trauma and childhood cancer, and there are physicians and there are nurses and there are board members.
We vetted everything through 2 major banks in New York, both JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley. They were on board with this as much as we were. I'm not tooting my horn, but we are very, very good at what we do.
And importantly, there are people with lived experience who know what this is like.
If you can create a space that allows parents to be hopeful in whatever way that looks like, I think that would be a pretty special place.
And what excites me about the Loft is there's a growing sense of permanency, a place that Lorna and I could come by and be a part of, even if it's 7-10 years out. We love to think of Sam, and thinking of Sam in relation to Ukandu is some of our favorite memories. And that, if you can replicate that just for a couple hours on a Saturday night here, I mean, that's a home run.
I think it's pretty awesome because it will be a good way for kids to come in and meet other kids.
And have a mini camp experience in the city.
I think the Loft represents an incredible opportunity for the other 50 weeks of the year. And Sabina keeps using that word magic. Like, as soon as you walk in the door, that vibe that's so special, it can be here all the time.
I'm excited for the fire pit.
If we know that the way that we treat trauma is by building resilience, and if we know that resilience is only created within connected relationships, and that those connected relationships can actually help mitigate the trauma, then wouldn't we right away wrap around a family with community? Wouldn't we, as soon as they had a diagnosis, say, we got you, we're here for you? I think it's an opportunity to be thought leaders and growth leaders in the medical community and create something that people will look at and say, oh, that. Every kid should have that. Every family should have that. A hub, a place where they can go to, where they can feel seen and heard and supported. We want that.